Thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football. The 4-1-2. It's a great day to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Let's jump right in. So the Pittsburgh Steelers are taking on the Cleveland Browns at Acrisure Stadium, and the big anticipated matchup will be between Myles Garrett and Troy Fautanu. I believe that Troy Fautanu will rise to the occasion, and he will show us why the Pittsburgh Steelers selected him in the first round of the NFL draft. With that being said, it doesn't mean that I think that one time during the course of that football game between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. that Troy Fontano shouldn't have help blocking Myles Garrett. Just like teams do to TJ Watt, double, triple, chipping him, that's exactly what the Pittsburgh Steelers need to do to Myles Garrett. If they can't stop Myles Garrett on defense, he can take over a game and pretty much win an entire football game by himself versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I hear a lot of different takes on Troy Fontano, but here's my take. I watched the all 22 film of him versus the Seattle Seahawks. And when he was blocking Uchenna Nwosu, you see a lot of great things on tape. When you see somebody as big as Troy Fontano and you see his kick, when the ball is snapped and he kicks out, he explodes off the football. It almost looks like he jumps 5 or 6 feet, literally backwards in his kick. Then, if he's off balance, let's say the pass rusher sets him up with a certain move and he's falling forward or he's just caught off balance, he has the footwork and the body movement to readjust, to catch himself, to correct the issue, to put his body in a better position to take on the defender. You can't, yes, you could teach technique and you could teach certain things, how to block, hand placement, and a lot of things. But this type of movement for a man this size is very, very rare and very special. The things that Troy Fontano can do on tape, when you watch it and you see it in the all 22 film and you see his explosiveness and his hand fighting and the way he can readjust if he made an error during the course of a rep, he was the right pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You have to take, there's only so many of these offensive tackles to go around. There's only so many people on planet Earth that are this big that can move the way that Troy Fontano can move. So when Troy was hurt, obviously I was not excited about the pick. Who would be? You know, he's a first round pick and he's hurt and he's had a bit of a injury history in college. But now that he's back and healthy and you see him on tape and you see the things that he could do with his body, it definitely looks like the right pick for the Pittsburghs, even if it doesn't work out. Even if Troy Fontano doesn't become a 12-year All-Pro, you can't pass on these types of players in the draft if you're trying to rebuild your offensive line. You just can't. And when I watched that all 22 film of him, it really put things in perspective for me why the Pittsburgh Steelers chose Troy Fontano in the first round, pick number 20 in the 2024 NFL draft. Troy Fontano's training camp battles with TJ Watt have had him ready for Myles Garrett. Troy Fontano went on to say there were no chips in training camp. Fontano said Friday via the team's YouTube channel, it was one-on-one every play. I felt like I thrived in that. Obviously, TJ's going to win some, but man, I try to bring it every single day and do my best to block a guy like that. You go against a guy that has a lot of things in his arsenal, prepares you for Sunday. So just excited for this matchup. TJ Watt also returned some praise. He said, practicing against the 2024 first round pick challenged me. I mean, what more needs to be said? Troy Fontano held his own against TJ Watt, and I expect him to do the same thing this Sunday at Acrisure Stadium against Myles Garrett. And Myles Garrett takes off a lot of plays. He doesn't play hard every single down like TJ Watt at all. I've never been a fan of Myles Garrett at all, just because he's a Cleveland Brown. And then on top of it, with Mason Rudolph, the fake accusations of racial slurs underneath the pile, we all know that was complete BS. And then he has absolutely no respect for TJ Watt at all. I hope that TJ Watt doesn't shake his hand after the game or before the game. I wish TJ Watt would just stay away from him because Myles Garrett obviously suffers from TJ Watt derangement syndrome. I hate seeing TJ even interact with Myles Garrett because Myles Garrett has zero respect for TJ Watt. I love when they ask Myles Garrett his top pass rushers and TJ Watt's nowhere to be found. Okay, Myles. You should get a job on woke ESPN with racist Ryan Clark. You fit right in. Myles Garrett also said that the hate from Steelers fans and Renegade fuels him. I just want to see him laying on his back play after play, Sunday afternoon at Acrisure Stadium, either on his back or face down. I don't care. As long as the Pittsburgh Steelers kick the ever living crap out of Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns, can't stand him. Jalen Ramsey practiced today on Friday. Some people are saying he might play this Sunday. I hope he does. Despite a hamstring injury that usually takes multiple weeks recovery time, Pittsburgh Steelers cornerback Jalen Ramsey isn't ruling himself out Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. It's not all talk either. Ramsey returned to some level of practice Friday, telling reporters he took reps during individual and team periods. We'll see, Ramsey told reporters via ESPN's Brooke Pryor with a smile. He added he did a little something something during today's practice. Well, I hope he's out there with Joey Porter Jr. That will definitely help the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Right now, I think we're 30th in the league in passing defense. And Dylan Gabriel, he's a good quarterback. I'm telling you, don't underestimate him. He makes smart decisions. He gets the football out of his hands very fast, and he has good rhythm and timing when to get the ball. Like it's when the receiver, as soon as he makes his break or his cut, the ball's there. Dylan Gabriel is a dangerous player, and don't forget that. I know you all seen Cam Skattebo last night do his thing, 3 touchdowns in one game. I'm going to bring up the video next week of the video I made 6 months ago saying why when the 2025 season is over and they redo these drafts like the way the draft should have been, that Cam Skattebo should have been a first round pick. And I still can't believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers missed on Cam Skattebo. Absolutely drives me crazy. All you had to do was watch 2 games of Cam Skattebo in college, Texas and BYU, and you knew exactly the type of player that you would have been getting. He can obviously run the football, pick up the tough yards. He doesn't need the greatest offensive line in the world. He can pass block. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. There's nothing that Cam Skattebo can't do. And of course, he's wearing blue instead of the black and gold. Absolutely makes me sick. And he's on his way to be Offensive Rookie of the Year and probably making a Pro Bowl. There's no doubt about it. Why Caleb Johnson will not contribute anything, and I mean, he won't contribute anything at all to the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2025. Caleb Johnson, all you heard was how Caleb Johnson was going to take over the starting job by October. He's still 3rd string on the depth chart, and he's not even trusted enough to return kicks. I've been taking, the fans have been getting on me. Oh, I'm not giving up on him. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he's the next Barry Sanders, but obviously it doesn't look like that. I think sometimes these scouts overthink things. I really do. It's like Jackson Dart. I made a video 6 months ago also on Jackson Dart saying why he should be the first quarterback taken off the board. Jackson Dart played in the SEC. He played the Georgias, the Alabamas, the Auburns, the Texas A&Ms. He played the cream of the crop defenses. Those defenses have the most NFL defenders on them. So if you throw for 4,000 yards and 28 touchdowns and 8 interceptions in the best division in college football, seems like a no-brainer to me. Out of all the quarterbacks you could have taken, the Big Bens and the Josh Allens are very, very rare. That's usually not how quarterbacks pan out in the NFL. Big Ben is the rare exception. Josh Allen is the exception. So I'm not surprised at all what Jackson Dart is doing. Again, he went against NFL talent his entire time in college, and he put up big numbers. So am I surprised? No. And when you compare him to all the quarterbacks that came out in the 2024 NFL draft, Will Howard also played excellent competition, and so did Dylan Gabriel. That's why I don't sleep on Dylan Gabriel at all. You think these scouts would know by now already. It's like you have a player that played against the best competition in college football. He played against other NFL players, and he puts up big numbers, and you draft the guy. But they just overthink these things to no end. Oh, he walked in the room, and he didn't smile the right way, and he lit up the room when he smiled, or he didn't smile. It's just like, it's just shut. Who did the guy play against? Did he play against NFL talent? Yes, he did. Did he put up big numbers? Yes, he did. Even if you had a quarterback, and let's say he was at Vanderbilt, but he's in the SEC, and he went 1-10, but he still threw for 3,500 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. I'm going to give him a shot or a tryout just based on he played the best competition, was on a shitty team. than giving somebody like Kenny Pickett, making him a first round pick who played at Pitt. Who did Kenny Pickett play at Pitt in the ACC? Was the ACC pumping out NFL players? No, they weren't. And they haven't in a long time. The University of Miami used to pump out players like that, not anymore. So during Kenny Pickett's college career, I don't think he played a lot of NFL talent, and the Pittsburgh Steelers still went and drafted him in the first round anyway. This isn't, sometimes you have to do your homework and research, but sometimes you can't overthink these things at all. And Jackson Dart, looking back on it, a lot of people wanted Shedeur Sanders to be drafted over Jackson Dart. It's completely laughable. You see Jackson Dart out there running. First of all, he could scram, he could run his ass off. He's gonna need to get in the weight room and get stronger, or he's gonna get injured running the ball like that. He's got a rocket for an arm. He makes good decisions. Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart are not even in the same stratosphere when it comes to talents. It's completely laughable. All right, I'm here to talk about the Steelers. Sorry, I won't go on one of my tangents again. You know how much energy Cam Skattebo would bring the Pittsburgh Steelers, the fans, and the organization? It would just be nuts. It really would. Mike Tomlin addresses Roman Wilson not playing through 4 games. He just gives a Tomlinism here, where it might just be our selection of personnel groups. Tomlin countered via the Steelers website. We've been talking a lot about multiple tight ends. Spencer Anderson reporting as eligible. The utilization of multiple tight end groups. Roman Wilson's lack of participation might not mean anything relative to his performance or even what's going on at his position. It might just show how we chose to deploy our personnel groups in the first month of the season. It's still very early in this process. We got 13 straight games ahead of us, so keep watching. So basically, he told you nothing. And translation, what it really means is Roman Wilson hasn't done anything to let the Pittsburgh Steelers know that he has the talent or the ability to be a solid number 2 receiver. That's all this is. And Coach Tomlin is being professional. He doesn't want to crap on him and put it out there publicly like, oh, it's over. This dude can't play. Of course, he's not going to say that because the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to use him as trade bait or what's ever going to happen. So Coach Tomlin obviously has to say this, but we all already know exactly what it is. If he hasn't got on the field at all by now, I don't think things are going to change. And you're going to say, oh, you're just being negative. Caleb Johnson is giving me Roman Wilson vibes, and that's my opinion. I just don't think it's going to work out. That is my opinion. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2.